From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
My name's Tanner Petraucci at The Fireplace, where we know home is where the hearth is. We pride ourselves on providing great quality customer service, fireplace extraordinaire and low-pie products, as well as some of the best training in town.
Everybody get up.
Happy Monday morning to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Krueger, starting off with those power outages we have across the area. Now in Humboldt County, we do have about 100 people that are without power. Now where you see the one in Tehama, Glenn, and Butte County, that is approximately 1,000 people. Now mainly for Tehama and Glenn County, those are planned power outages from PG&E. That's just because it's windy, they turn the power off, so in case a power line does go down, we don't start a fire. Now the ones in Butte County, that's basically from the winds that we have seen. We've seen plenty of power outages to the south of that as well, and even to the north. In fact, take a look at this. This is out in Willows from yesterday. There you can see a big branch that's down. We've seen down trees and big branches as well. This is out in Tennant. I want to thank Barbara for sending this image. This is from Siskiyou County in Tennant, California. So there you can see just some of the down trees and just the wind damage that we've seen. Now, if you want to share your photos, it's very easy to do that. You can do that from the free Weather NorCal app on your Android or your iPhone. Now, believe it or not, even though it's been windy out there, the winds have actually died down a bit here in the overnight and early morning hours. They're going to pick back up again. But as a result, temperatures are going to drop fairly rapidly. In fact, there is a frost advisory for Trinity and southern Humboldt County until 8 o'clock this morning. So yeah, some cold temperatures out there this morning for some of the higher elevations. So here's your Krueger's Quickcast for your Monday, May 18th. We're going to start off with that Skeeter meter. This is the latest coming in now on a scale of 1 to 5. We're halfway there at about a 2.5. And there you can see some of the advice that the Shasta Mosquito and Vector Control has for you. And by the way, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always call the number on your screen and they should be able to take care of you. Let's take a look at your forecast as you're heading out the door this morning. Getting the kids off to school, getting yourself off to work. Mainly clear skies, even the coast seeing mainly clear skies here this morning. But Modoc County, one of the cooler spots in the upper 30s. There you can see as we take a look at the satellite image, we have some clouds up to our north. High pressure is going to be building in over the next couple of days. And as a result, we are going to see an increase in those temperatures. But I want to talk about the winds because yes, the winds have subsided a bit here overnight. They're still going to be breezy, borderline windy throughout the day today. But I will say the winds won't be as strong as they were yesterday, which is why the wind advisory has been allowed to expire. But the winds are still strong enough that we're going to see that elevated fire weather risk as we go into the next 24 hours or so. But temperature-wise, it's warming up a little bit here, and we are in a bit of a warming trend, but certainly 85 degrees is nothing to be too terribly concerned about. And for tonight, we're talking mid-50s for the valley, 30s for most of the higher elevations, and I do expect those mid-40s for the coast. So here's your 7-day outlook for the valley. See, the temperatures are warming up. Now, it's got up to 100 degrees for Red Bluff. I'd say probably somewhere in the upper 90s. We may just dodge that triple-digit mark yet. We haven't seen 100 degrees yet this year, but that may change this week. We'll see. And the temperatures should start to slowly drop again after that. So the peak of this week's warming trend looks to be on Thursday or Friday, and then temperatures will start to kind of drop after that as we do go into the weekend. And of course, that looks to be the case here for many of the higher elevations as well. All right, let's take a look at our fire weather outlook. It's that time of the year. We just need to pay attention to it so you are aware of the conditions. So we still have a red flag warning today. That all being said, as I mentioned, the winds are not going to be nearly as strong as they were yesterday, but still dry and still windy out there, and that is going to give us that elevated fire weather risk. So we still need to be extremely careful. Now, we saw the winds here for today. As you can see, they're going to be gusting in that 30-mile-an-hour range, maybe a little bit higher in some spots for the valley. Now, still breezy for your Tuesday morning, but you see how they subside going into Tuesday afternoon. Again, a little breezy, especially on the west side of the valley Wednesday morning. But again, the wind's dying down. But take note, by the way, the coast still seeing some gusty winds at times through the afternoon. Now, again, we go into Thursday morning, look at the west side of the valley. a little breezy. But again, those winds will subside going into Thursday afternoon. So once again, we're just not seeing the wind that we did see over the weekend. Now we take a look at our fire weather risk. That's the colors. We're mainly going to be in the green and yellow. That's in the low to barely within that moderate range. But you will see here for today, look at the humidity levels. Those are the numbers on the screen. They're in the single digits for the valley. Now we go into your Tuesday, still very dry, and temperatures are going to start to increase. But overall, our fire weather risk is within that low to barely within that moderate range here. But I do expect to see that increase a bit because on Thursday is when we expect those temperatures to really increase. All right, so here's a look at our weather headlines. Gusty winds, high fire dangers to start off the week. Weaker winds though, overall, and for the most part going into Tuesday and Wednesday, with the warming trend this week close to 100 degrees near the end of the week. So looking at our deeper dive forecast, let's start off with the satellite image because that's going to really tell the story of what's going on. We do have high pressure out to our west right now. That high pressure is going to try to build into our region, but overall, we still have the main ridge of high pressure right here, and it's going to build a little bit closer to us. But the ridge won't build right on top of us, meaning it's not going to get as hot as it could should that ridge build over on top of us. We'll take a closer look at that here in a second. But let's talk about any chances for rain. And we don't really have any, but you'll notice here as we go into the mountains through the next, really this week, through the afternoon hours, we'll probably see those clouds developing in many of the higher elevations. But overall, if we see any showers, it would be few and far between, as you can kind of see here, Futurecast picking up on a little bit of activity trying to develop. But for the most part, we're talking mainly sunny skies here, at least to start off the day, and then by those afternoon hours, we do see some of those puffy cumulus clouds developing in the mountains. And by the way, that marine layer kind of coming and going along the coast as well. Now, looking at the Climate Prediction Center, still through, as we can see, May 24th through the 28th, getting close to the end of the month, we're in that drier than normal category. And on top of that, also the warmer than normal category. So again, you see we have that inside slider set up. There's the area of low pressure right here. We've got high pressure to our west. It's that squeeze play between that trough and that ridge of high pressure that gives us those gusty winds. And you'll see that again here for today. But what's going to happen is we're going to take you into Tuesday. We still have a little bit of that squeeze play on Tuesday, but what's happening is as this trough begins to shift eastward and this ridge kind of stays in place, we're going to start to see these lines, these white lines, when they're close together, that's when we have stronger winds. You spread those lines apart, you start to see those winds weaken a bit. And we're seeing those lines spread apart here even as early as today, but even more so for your Tuesday and Wednesday. Now you see the ridge? The ridge for the most part is still centered off to our west, so that's where the biggest heat will be, but we are seeing expand into our region. And I am seeing another dip in our temperatures as we kind of go into the weekend. We can start to see some of this cooler air begin to move in by the second half of the weekend and next week. But overall, we look at that 10-day trend. There's that peak on Thursday. They drop a little bit, but generally staying in the mid-90s. Now, keep in mind the normal high is about 82, so we're going to be well above our normal even as we go into that next weekend. Again, a reminder of the earliest we've ever hit 100 degrees or higher, at least in Redding, was on May 4th, 1992. Of course, we're beyond that and we've we're past May 4th, right? So we're not going to break that record this year. We still have the chance to break that 110 plus for the first time for the year, because the earliest has ever happened in Redding was June 5th in 1926. I don't think we want to break that, but of course we haven't reached June 5th yet, right? So we'll see. But yeah, we're due to hit 100 degrees. It happens a lot in May for the first time for the season. So we'll see if we get that this week. Taking a look at those lake levels, we're kind of in that trend now where all of the lakes are beginning to show signs of slowly dropping, but we're still over 100%. And that's where we really kind of keep a close eye on where are we and where should we be for this time of the year. And as long as we can stay above 100%, I don't think we can really complain too much. The wave heights, as you'll notice, they're a little high. There was a gale warning, now has been downgraded to small craft advisory. So we do have a small craft advisory through Wednesday, as a matter of fact, out off the coast. So just be aware of that if you do need to be on that small boat. Look at the winds. They're eventually going to be from the north at about 20 to 25 knots today, and there's that small craft advisory. So here's your neighborhood forecast sponsored by Dignity Health and Grange Co-op. We've got those temperatures in the 70s, even around 80 degrees for some of the warmer spots in Trinity County. But bottom line, what we're seeing here is a warming trend. And that warming trend is going to be the case here for the coast, for many of the inland areas. Now, of course, the coast, not as dramatic, but we take you to the inland areas. You can see we're peaking on Thursday around 92, and then temperatures start to slowly drop again after that. So temperatures going up, and then we'll start to see them go down slightly toward the end of the week and this upcoming weekend. That's the case also for the higher elevations, including Modoc County, with highs today, though, somewhere in the mid-60s for your daytime highs. And in the eastern mountains, we're talking temperatures in the 60s, although warmer out towards places like Paradise at 79, 71 for Quincy, and 74 degrees at Shingletown. For the south end of the valley, temperatures somewhere in the mid, maybe some upper 80s for those daytime highs, but temperatures continue to climb. Not quite 100 degrees on Thursday, at least for Oroville or Chico, but it's getting close, right? You may remember a couple weeks ago we had talked about that potential of seeing 100 degrees for the first time. Didn't quite happen. So we'll see. We'll kind of take a closer look at that here in the days to come. Now, the forecast model wants to bring it up to about 100 degrees here on Thursday. That might be pushing it, we'll see, but just kind of really helps to illustrate the fact that Thursday is the peak of the warming trend. That'll be the hottest this week. Some of us could potentially reach 100 degrees in parts of the valley as we get into Thursday, but temperatures, as you can see, will drop slightly for your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All right, that's your morning update. Meteorologist Aurora Murray will be in it with your noon and evening updates. And I will see you tomorrow morning again, right here on Weather NorCal on Coffee with Krueger, 6:30 in the morning. Have yourselves a great morning.
When you see flashing lights, someone's life depends on us.
And while we're out helping crash victims, we need your help to keep us safe. Move over, slow down, it's the law, it protects everyone.
Our crews are out here every day, keeping the roads safe for you and your family.
We're often the last ones on scene, and we want to make it home safe too.
Protect those who protect you, slow down and move over.